Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today we're going to be talking about an episode that is for anybody who doesn't feel that they quite fit in. And this applies to people who are in a career in coffee, as well as people who own a business in coffee. This is interesting and a very interesting subject because it seems to be that our industry attracts a lot of the most insecure people in the world. And that's exciting to me because I believe that your career should be, or your business should be, a mechanism for you to start exploring elements of yourself that you don't necessarily have the opportunity to explore outside of your work life. And so your career is an opportunity to be bigger and bolder than what you might tend to be in your private life. So I want to start this discussion by talking about the different personality types, because my intention with this is, and what my philosophy is with the way that I approach life and other people is, you do you, boo. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not here to judge anybody. My biggest challenge is, how do I not judge myself? And I think that that's at the core of where we can start towards self-acceptance. And once we can start towards self-acceptance, we can start to explore different elements of ourselves that can turn us into the kinds of people that we're actually trying to become, both at work and in our private lives. And so if we look at the 5 major personality types, and forgive me, I'm reading from a list here. First of all, we have openness. And openness is the idea of being inventive and curious. Conscientiousness is about being efficient and organized. Extroversion is about being outgoing and energetic. Agreeableness is about being friendly and compassionate. And neuroticism is about being sensitive and nervous. Now, when you are under the microscope, and a lot of us in our industries are under the microscope and feel like we're being watched by so many people, and we feel like we're being judged by so many people, the way to become the person who you feel most comfortable with, where you give 0 fucks when other people are judging you. Yes, you want to be the best version of yourself that you can be, but focusing on that rather than how can I be somebody that everybody likes. And hello, I am absolutely in that space because I'm constantly being judged. Some people love the fact that I swear on my podcast. Other people swear at me because I swear at my podcast and judge me because I swear on my podcast. People have opinions about what I'm doing with Elixir. Other people could care less and don't understand why people care what I do with Elixir. It took me a long time to stop listening to the outside noise, start focusing on what it was about me that I was so insecure about that I cared what anybody else thought. And then I moved into a lane of, well, I'm just going to work on being the best version of myself. And I'm going to help you understand why this matters on a coffee podcast about career and business development in a second. Okay, so let's break down those personality types for a second. Openness is about your ability to be open-minded to new ideas. It's about you stepping aside from needing to be right and constantly opening your own mind to the idea that other things can challenge your beliefs and challenge the way that you look at yourself, other people, and other things. Conscientiousness is another way of saying, how hard will you work? How efficient and organized will you be at getting the shit done that you need to get done? Extroversion is all about, being really talkative and being really open in personality wise and energetic and being like the life of the party, and very talkative kind of people. Agreeableness, not aggressiveness, agreeableness, which is the opposite of aggressiveness. Agreeableness is about being friendly and compassionate, but you have to be careful there about something that I have suffered the affliction of, which is being overly empathetic. And that's something that I had to take a look at when I was looking at where I fit in amongst this and how I wanted to fashion my own personality. And neuroticism is like your tendency towards stress. People who are overly neurotic have a huge tendency towards stress. Now, I'm going to invite you to take a look at what are all the different elements of those 5 personality traits, and these are the psychological, big 5 they call them. Take a look at these things and think about, where do you fall within each of those? Are there any that you have more of or less of? And if you tend to be someone who cares a lot what other people think, you've probably got a lot with regards to, you've got a bigger stake in the idea of agreeableness. You want to please other people. I want to ask you, how's that working for you? Because I guarantee you, when you are living your life to make other people happy, you're spending very little time making yourself happy. When you are spending a lot of your time being stressed, if you're, got a lot of neuroticism, if you're spending a lot of your time being stressed, you're not spending very much time moving forward and driving your career forward. You are always emanating stress, and you are always projecting that energy onto the people around you. And we all know people like that. People who something goes wrong in the cafe, you're getting hammered, and there's customers everywhere. There's, all the deliveries turn up at the same time. The queue's building up, etc., etc. Somebody tips over a jug of milk, and the neurotic person is like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" They need to make a big fanfare about the whole thing. That's someone who's overly neurotic, overly sensitive to stressful environments. If that's you, you're not necessarily going to be somebody that is going to be well absorbed into a team. You're not going to be somebody who's going to be seen or considered for leadership positions. However, if you have an open mind and you're conscientious and you have a sprinkle of extroversion in there with a dash of compassion and friendliness, because you can show empathy, and you can be sensitive to when there are legitimately stressful situations, that is the kind of person that is perfectly positioned for a leadership position. Conversely, if you'd like to be somebody who's more in the back end of the show, let's say a coffee roaster, and you want to be somebody who is, the controlling the masterpieces behind the scenes, the artiste, let's say, your proportion of agreeableness, let's just say, would probably be more. You'd need more of that because of your sensitivities. Because of your compassion and sensitivity towards what other people need from you. You're in that situation, you're not a leader, you're somebody who's taking direction. So being more agreeable will help you achieve what you want to be achieving in your career. I want to ask you here to consider and ponder a question. I'm somebody who's inspired every minute by the questions that are posed to me by my environment. So I want to pose this to you. Where are you right now with regards to the way that you see your personality? How do you feel about the way that people react to that personality? And where would you like to see yourself in regards to your personal and professional development? Do you want to see yourself in 10 years' time owning your own business? Do you want to see yourself in 10 years' time as a world barista champion? Do you want to see yourself in 10 years' time out of coffee completely and following a completely different projection? If that's the case, I want you to think about what it is that you need to do to make the shifts that are necessary for you to be the best version of yourself that you can be, and stop focusing on what other people need you to be. Stop focusing on what everybody else's opinion is of you, because in our industry, we have so many opinions about everybody else. Anybody who spends a lot of their time telling you what's wrong with you and what needs to change with you is projecting a fuck ton of crap that they should be holding up a mirror to for themselves. You do you, boo. You do you. And start considering how you can elevate your expression of yourself and how you can sit in the hard stuff, go through the hard journey so that you are becoming the person that you want to be. How can you elevate your experience of yourself and your life and your career so that you are a joy to be around for yourself? And when you are that, everybody you come into contact with in your work life and in your personal life is going to find you a joy to be around as well. Even if they hate the fact that they love being around you, they will still want to be around you. On that note, peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Join me in a little while for a conversation with Kimchi Pete. He is somebody who opened a restaurant for a year and closed it because the restaurant was not doing well. And this is a dude who absolutely sits in this idea of, hey, I'm going to do me. This restaurant isn't going to work, so I have to close it. And I think you guys will really enjoy this conversation. So join us if you are watching this live. If not, take a listen. Episode 52 on the Map It Forward podcast. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends.